Hello and welcome back to this week's Jewels of Wisdom. Now this week I'm going to share with you the three biggest mistakes you need to avoid if you're looking to build optimal performance mentally and physically, build more well-being and resilience, whether it's for yourself or maybe within your company, for those you work with, and also improve your health and fitness and avoid those sick days, because we know sick days are a key problem. So before I get to those three biggest mistakes, I want to share with you a little bit of research I have been doing recently. And here in the UK, we have a thing called the Health and Safety Executive, which is a government body. And it was interesting to me and actually quite staggering to discover that 36 million days a year are lost through sick days, absences. And when you bear in mind that most of those sick days are uninsured, so you're not going to get any money back for them. Not only that, but they're actually going to be impacting, obviously, if you have staff working for you, the workload's going to go on to them. So it's more pressure and stress for them, which is impacting their quality of life, how they feel when they're at work and how they're producing their work. And also it's going to be, maybe reducing the speed at which you reach those deadlines, or if you've got clients waiting you to finish a job or come up with information for them, it's not going to be done in a good amount of time, and that's going to affect your relationships with customers, clients, etc. So that's not a place you kind of want to be in. You always want to have a good reputation and be a firm that people trust and know are going to be reliable and get the job done, particularly when they're paying you a large sums of money to do so. So yeah, the staggering amount of money and time lost. As I say, it was about £18 billion a year lost to the sick days as well. Now they worked out that it was about 16.5 days a year per person we're taking in absences, which if you add it all up, do the figures, and if my figures are correct, it works out to just under £500 a day per person per year being lost, which amounts to about 8,200 give or take a year per person in lost revenue, which is considerable. And particularly if you have a small or a micro business, that's quite a sum to be impacting your bottom line, your revenue. So yeah, some figures to be thinking about. But anyway, that aside, what are the key reasons people are taking so much time off work? Well, it's no surprise, certainly wasn't to me, and I'm sure it won't be to you, that the majority of time taken off, which actually amounted to 18%, was of mental health issues, and that includes stress, anxiety, depression, those kinds of conditions. And then the second coming in were musculoskeletal disorders, which amounted to about just over 15%, and 10% were for injuries. Now for me, it's no surprise at all, because as you know from my previous discussions on videos, mind and body are so interlinked, and the fact that whatever's going on with the mindset is therefore going to be affecting what's going on in the body and producing more inflammation, more stress, and more chronic pain. Now, this obviously was confirmed in many ways by the research done on the connection between psychosomatic disorders and chronic pain and emotional trauma. So looking at the psychological and emotional trauma that's going on that actually produces that chronic pain when there's not been any physical pain in terms of an injury or illness or something like that, came to about between 4 to 20%, and that was from the WHO. So we know that there is a link between emotional and psychological trauma and problems linking in with that chronic pain. And could that be also impacting the absences as well? And that could be the reason there is so much going on. Maybe those with the more mental health issues or mind health issues are also finding they're getting an occurrence of some sort of pain issue or musculoskeletal disorder as well, coupled with the mechanical side as such. So how you're moving, how you're sitting, your posture, etc., all is impacting and adding to the stress, both physically and mentally, and increasing that inflammation. And you go through this whole cycle of stress, trauma and injury, and it doesn't resolve itself. So getting the right methods in place to address those is really key. But there are mistakes that people make when they start to employ these different types of methods, which I want to help you understand so that you can avoid making those mistakes and make sure you have the best methods in place that are going to actually help and impact you as quickly as possible and get people back to work, back engaged, focused, energized, and achieving their goals and keeping your customers happy. But before I do, I'm just going to let you know that I do actually have a course online, which is the very starting point. It's the most common sort of physical and psychological issues that occur. And it's there designed to help you, take you through a 12-week program to help you overcome these problems, starting off with the mind and then looking at the physical side of things and taking you through exercises and different things you can do to get you back into your best condition and, as I say, performing at your very best. If you are interested, please go along to teamclinicservices.com, and from there you can actually go online and book a free discovery call with myself, and we can take you through the whole process and show you how it could potentially be of use to you. So if you'd like to do that, as I say, go along and go to the website and we can get you booked in there. But as for the 3 biggest mistakes, what are they? Well, here we go. Mistake number 1, when you're looking to overcome sick days, build resilience, etc., and optimize your performance, is very often the first problem that occurs is when there's a pain point anywhere, whether it's a mind one, whether it's a physical, musculoskeletal one, tend to just focus on the spot where the pain is. Now, as I said before, the body is interlinked. You know, nothing works on its own. Everything works together. It's a chain, a kinetic chain. And we all need to look above and below to see where the problem are. So you need to have a method that looks at the body globally. You can't just look, so you need to look at what's going on. Where are there any blockages, be it a muscular one, a neural one, or a mindset one. So it's looking above and below wherever the pain point is, because then you get a much more thorough idea of how to clear that problem and move forward progressively and proactively, and get it quickly as well, get you through to the next stage. So the second problem is a tendency to look at the body purely from a mechanical perspective. Now, as I said previously, you know, looking at the emotional and psychological history, as well as the medical and fitness history, is just as important, because, as I've said, you know, chronic pain and looking at what's been going on with you in your past, your present, and where you want to be in your future from a psychological and a physical perspective. So always look at methods that incorporate all of that, are going to take a look at you know, what things are going on with you in your mindset as well. And the third thing is having a tendency to overlook any impairments, particularly when it comes to the physical aspects of fitness training and corrective training, and is purely getting the movement there, but they're not actually fixing the impairment, particularly with a lot of postural issues. If you're one of these people who tends to spend a lot of time in front of your computer, sitting at a desk, and on top of that you incorporate all the stresses and pressures, and very often more inflammation is there in the body, and those impairments or dysfunction within the muscles and joints are going to actually prevent you from actually getting the best effects from any exercises or any rehabilitation or anything you need to do. You're not going to get the most effective results. So really resolving those impairments and getting balance within the muscles and the joints, and therefore the nerves will work more effectively, and you'll be able to build a much stronger, more resilient body, both mentally, but also doing it in a way that affects the nervous system, because that's going to affect you, the strength of the brain and how the brain and body connect and operate. So for me, those are the 3 things that really need to be addressed and avoid making any mistakes with, because it's really going to slow the process down, and the key is get you back fitter, healthier, at the quickest and the most speediest way possible. So for me, I hope that's been of help to you. I'd love to hear from you. Put your comments below, like and subscribe if you can to this channel. But as for today, I'd like to thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great day.